Jr., early Bitcoin investor. I'm the founder of Washington Elite. I'm also the CEO of Global Boost. Biggest business that we do right now is capital raise. We have multiple projects here at the Global Family Office Investment Summit. Well, we've seen a shift of how everything goes. Of course, we've been around and working with Anthony for a long time. And of course, we had crypto and everything, and as it evolved, now really it's AI. I mean, that's what's coming out of this AI, whether it's data centers, whether it's AI workers, whether it's just investing in AI. AI is the topic, and that is what is fueling this next bull run, really. So we've been involved in the Global Family Office Investment Summit for at least, I would say, 5 years. We're honored to be here at the 25th anniversary. We're honored to be a partner. There is probably almost nobody better than Anthony Ritosa at bringing such a high caliber of people together under one roof. And that's why we continue to come back. It's not like you go to some of these huge events and there's thousands and thousands of people. And yes, the ones that you want to talk to may be there, but there's a whole 100, 200 people lined up to get to them. And it doesn't mean it can't work. They work all the time. But what we do here at the Global Family Office Investment Summit is we bring all those people under one roof. And sure, maybe you have to stand in line, but it's only 3 or 4 people. It's not 200 or 300.
Hello and good morning, money movers, shakers, and truth chasers. Welcome to the Impact Money Show, broadcasting live from the swampy heart of Washington, D.C., where the deals are dirty, the stakes are sky high, and the coffee is barely keeping me awake here at 6:10 a.m. EDT. I'm your host, Bruce Porter Jr., here to cut through the noise, connect the dots, and maybe even ruffle a few feathers, because if we're not asking the hard questions, who is? Let's kick off with the weather here in the nation's capital, because even the clouds have a story to tell. Right now, it's a chilly 51 degrees Fahrenheit. Sorry, I'm not converting that to Celsius, folks. We're in America, and we like our freedom units. No precipitation, so the skies are clear, but the humidity is a sticky 81%, making my suit feel like a sauna. A gentle 4-mile-per-hour breeze is blowing, just enough to whisper, hey, maybe move to a drier climate. But we're in DC, stuck in the muck, ready to unpack the madness of the markets, tech, and the geopolitics. So grab your coffee, buckle up, and let's dive into the chaos. Markets. This is a roller coaster of hope and horror. First up, the markets. Because money never sleeps, even if I wish I could. The U.S. dollar and the DXY index is taking a beating, sitting at 98.72, down 0.61 points or 62%. The greenback's looking a little pale, folks. And it's not just the humidity here in D.C. Over in Asia, the markets are staging a drama worth a soap opera. The Hong Kong Stock Exchange closed at 23,157, down 131.81 or 0.57%. But here's the twist. It was down over 2% shortly after opening. What happened? Did the Bank of China fire up the printing presses and flood the system with cash? Did a mystery buyer swoop in? Or is it just the market's version of a Monday morning panic attack? We'll dig into that because something smells fishy, and it's not the Potomac River. Meanwhile, the U.S. dollar is sliding against the Japanese yen, down 142.83, a drop of 1.21%, or a drop of 1.21, or 84.84%. The bond market is in trouble, folks. The Bank of Japan is waving the red flag, signaling higher rates might be on the horizon. Higher rates in Japan? That's like a sumo wrestler stepping into the boxing ring. Things could get messy, and the U.S. dollar is already ducking for cover. But wait, there's a glimmer of hope in the precious metals corner. Gold is shining bright at $33.74, up a hefty $59 or 1.78% today. Silver's not far behind, climbing to 33.53 US dollar, up 0.51%. I'm sorry, up 51 cents or 1.53%. Are investors running to safe havens? Is this a flight from fiat chaos? You bet it is. And I'm here for the glitter. Now let's talk crypto, because the digital Wild West is wilder than ever. Bitcoin's flexing at 104,571, up about 0.8%, thanks to Michael Saylor and his relentless buying spree. Keep stacking those sats, Mike. Solana's up. These numbers they're changing fast. So as I put this together, let's see here. Boom. Let me put this. There we go. Solana is up 1.5% at 153.81. Dogecoin's wagging its tail at 0.19068, up 1.35%. Litecoin's leading the charge at 88.66, up 2.33%. 88.43 now, up 2.13%. But Ethereum, oh poor ETH, down 0.24% at 24.88. The cryptos market's a mixed bag, folks. But the seller buying and maybe China printing, are we seeing a tug of war between hope and havoc? U.S. stock futures, though, oof, not so cheery. S&P 500 futures. Let me just check my data here. Yeah, about the same. Are at 42,104, down 190 points at or 0.45%, with an implied open of a negative 228. The S&P 500 futures. I'm sorry, that was the Dow futures. The S&P 500 futures are at 58.84, down 0.53%. NASDAQ futures are taking a hit as well, down 145 or 0.68%. The markets got the Monday blues, and I'm wondering if it's the tariff fears, the war jitters, or just the Wall Street needing a nap. We'll unpack that, because the numbers don't lie, but the narratives sure try to. In AI, the brainiacs are buzzing. Now let's shift gears to artificial intelligence, because the machines are moving faster than a DC lobbyist chasing a campaign donation. The latest in AI, researchers are pushing the boundaries of generative models, with companies like OpenAI and Google's double down on multimodal AI. Think systems that can handle text, images, and maybe even your morning coffee order. Word on the street is that AI is getting better at real-time decision-making, with applications in finance, healthcare, and even predicting market moves. But here's the kicker. U.S. officials are sweating bullets over China's AI progress. Reports from April 16, 2025, via the New York Times, flagged concerns about NVIDIA and China's DeepSeek. With the Trump administration, lawmakers mulling rules to slow Beijing's roll. Why? Because AI is the new arms race, folks. Nobody wants to lose the brain game. Are we innovating or just playing catch up? Stay tuned, because the machines are watching, and I can guarantee you that they're even listening. Good morning, Chief Gotti. Good morning, sir. Robotics, the future has got legs and arms. Speaking of machines, robotics is heating up like a DC summer. The latest buzz, I'll tell you what, the heating up. This is like, my brother is here now, and he's like, oh, I get it. DC is like London. I'm like, well, not really. So no, it is. It's just like London. Well, it is now, but it's not really usually like this. Give it a month or two. But right now, it's cold and wet. It's June. I've lived here off and on for 30-something years, and I've never seen a June open up like this. Pretty interesting. Anyway, robotics. The future's got legs and arms. Speaking of machines, robotics is heating up like a DC summer. There you go. The latest buzz. Boston Dynamics just dropped a new video of their Atlas robot doing backflips and hauling cargo like it's training for a Robo Olympics. Meanwhile, in Japan, researchers are perfecting soft robotics. Think flexible, human-friendly bots for healthcare and disaster response. But the big news, Tesla's Optimus is reportedly closer to production, with whispers of 2026 rollout for factory and home use. I've said this many times. I can't wait to get my Optimus robot. I can't wait. I want my robot. I want my Optimus robot. I really am looking forward to getting one of these bad boys. I know. People are scared about it, but not me. Give me the robots, man. Give me the robots. Elon Musk's fingerprints are all over this, and we'll get to him in a sec. Robotics is transforming manufacturing, logistics, and maybe even your laundry routine. But at what cost? Jobs, safety, or just our sanity when the Roomba starts sassing your back? The future's got legs, and it's running fast. In the life longevity news, chasing the fountain of youth, now let's talk about living longer, because who doesn't want to stick around for the next market crash? Life longevity research is buzzing, folks. Scientists at Harvard and MIT are diving deep into gene editing with CRISPR trails showing promise for reversing age-related diseases like Alzheimer's and heart disease. A recent study, hot off the press, claimed a new drug cocktail boosted lab mice lifespan by 20%. 20%! That's a lot! What's the average lifespan? 80? So 20%? What are you talking about? 15 more years or something? That's a lot. That puts you right up there near 100. I'm trying to go for at least 120. At least 120. I said that, and one of my friends said, "Yeah, you got to go for at least 150. I should change it. At least 150. Of course, as you get older, stuff stops working as well. Anyway, human trials on that still ways off, but biotech firms are pouring billions into anti-aging therapies. Think senolytics to clear out zombie cells, and telomeres erase tweaks to keep your DNA young. The dream? A 100-year-old you, still crushing it at pickleball. The catch? Cost and ethics. Will only the rich live forever? Or will we be sipping longevity smoothies by 2030? I'm betting the latter, but bring your wallet. Elon Musk, the maverick of many moves. And speaking of dreamers, let's zoom in on Elon Musk for a minute. The man that never sleeps, probably because he's too busy tweeting, building, and shaking up the world. The latest on Elon, he's juggling Tesla, SpaceX, and now the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, folks. Not the crypto. Back in April 2025, The Guardian reported Elon's plan to scale back his role in Doge after a 71% drop in Tesla profits. That hurt a lot of people. I know that. Ouch! But he's not slowing down. Tesla's Optimus robot is steaming ahead. And SpaceX just nailed another Starship launch, inching closer to Mars. And get this, Musk's Neuralink is making waves with recent trials showing brain implants helping paralyzed patients control devices with their thoughts. Is it genius or mad scientist? You decide. But Elon's playing 4D chess while the rest of us are stuck on checkers. And let's talk about President Trump, the 47th president. Now let's pivot to the 47th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, because the White House is a circus, and he is the ringmaster. The latest, Trump's first 100 days per CNBC and The Guardian in April 2025 saw tariff rollouts, mass deportation plans, and controversial partnerships with Elon Musk to slash government fat. But the big story today, Ukraine and NATO just pulled off a jaw-dropping drone attack on Russia. Hidden in trucks, taking out a chunk of Putin's bombing fleet. A massive blow. And Putin screaming retaliation, nukes on the table. A formal war declaration looming. An official word is Trump didn't know, but I'm calling baloney, folks. Did our no war president green light this? Is he betting NATO can outmuscle Russia? Or is this a high stakes gamble gone wild? Markets are trembling. I'm wondering if Trump's confidence is genius or a roll of the dice. Either way, the world is on edge, folks. And DC's buzzing louder than a hornet's nest. In U.S. legislative news, chaos is in the chambers. On the legislative front, Congress is a mess. Shocker, right? The latest, lawmakers are scrambling to address Trump's terrorist regime and the fallout from its Fed attacks. Back in April, Trump bashed Fed Chair Jerome Powell, tanking the dollar and stocks. Now Congress is split. Some Republicans cheer Trump's drain the swamp vibe, while Dems push back, demanding Fed independence and economic stability. A new bill's floating to curb executive overreach on trade, but the House and Senate are bickering. It's stuck in limbo. And get this, Trump's Palantir partnership to profile Americans. Yep, every one of us is raising hackles. Privacy advocates are screaming, but the bill to rein it in, dead on arrival. Welcome to DC, where gridlock's the only thing that is moving fast. Not to mention this big, beautiful bill, which codifies the Green New Deal, doesn't do anything for Doge, adds trillions of dollars to the deficit. I understand the man wants a bill to go through, but I don't understand supporting a bad bill that's going to do all kinds of bad things. Send the guys back to do it. Speaker Johnson, get back to work. I'll tell you what's going to happen. We're going to lose the House, and they're going to impeach Trump again. Mark my words. And it's because of shenanigans like this. The people are sick of inflation going through the roof because everybody in Washington keeps spending money. They keep printing money. The Fed prints it. They say, oh, print this. People are sick of it. It's not sustainable. And if the Republicans lose the House, they have a very, very slim majority. If the Republicans lose the House in the midterms, which is, people are already starting to campaign. But anyway, it's just around the corner. 2026. They are going to impeach him again. And this time around, they threw people in jail last time. They'll throw people in jail again. Our side, the Republicans, they never throw anybody in jail. We get our guys in, the FBI and everything else. What do they do? Oh, Epstein killed himself. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, nothing to see here. Oh, yeah, that assassination attempt in Pennsylvania. Nothing to see here. Geopolitics, a world on fire. Let's zoom out to the globe because it's tinderbox, folks. The Israel-Palestine conflict rages on, and the headlines are grim. Reports claim Israel's campaign continues with a devastating loss of life. Babies, women, civilians on a scale you can call anything else but genocidal. The IDF is on X, clapping back anyone who dares to criticize, labeling them anti-Semitic. It's ridiculous. You say anything. You got 4 or 5 people. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Everybody knows. I don't know if everybody knows or not. That's why I'm telling you. The IDF on X and other social media. Meanwhile, a lone protester, Mohammed Salman, burns a few people in Colorado in protest. No deaths, but the world's in an uproar. The hypocrisy is thick, folks. Why the outrage for one act and silence for thousands? I'm not picking sides, but the math ain't mathing. And the world's gone mad. Then there's Ukraine, NATO, and Russia. That drone attack, a game changer. Putin's promising a harsh response, maybe nuclear, and a war declaration on the table. But this escalation is on steroids, and the markets are bleeding. Sailors' buys, and China's printing can't stitch the wound. Trump's Palantir deals to profile Americans. Some say opposing Israel's actions might land you on the Palantir list. These are dangerous times, folks. Why does supporting the U.S. mean backing everything that Israel does? Something's not adding up. And I'm here to ask why. Wrapping it up, what's next? So, where do we stand? Money mavens. The dollar's wobbling at 98.72. Actually, let me update that. Dollar wobbling 98.82. Asian markets are shaky. The yen's kicking us. Gold and silver soaring. Crypto's a mixed bag, and stock futures are grim. AI is racing. Robotics are leaping, and longevity is teasing eternal life. Elon's everywhere. Trump's rolling the dice, and Congress is a circus. The world's burning. Israel, Palestine, Ukraine, Russia. and the questions pile up. So what's the play, folks? Are we buying gold, stacking Bitcoin, or hiding under the bed? One thing's clear. The Impact Money Show is your front row seat to the madness. We'll dig, we'll question, we'll laugh, and maybe cry a little. Stick with me because the markets don't sleep. The world's a mess, and we're cutting through it all live from DC, where the humidity at 81% and the stakes are 100%. You can call in, you can tweet us, you can talk to us. Let's get to the market report with the great Matt Dixon. Sir Matt, how are you?
Hey, good morning, Bruce. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing?
Good morning. Oh, doing good. I got out of that Doge position pretty quick.
Yeah, well done. Amazing. Yeah. We'll have a look at the markets just as a point of context. And I know every single death, just one death, is absolutely horrendous and terrible because it affects families, people, everybody. But just to put it into context, the total number of deaths reported in this Gaza conflict over the past couple of years is 54,000. The total number of deaths in the Ukraine-Russia war is 800,000.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, but any death, as we both agree, is painful and terrible.
Yeah.
I'll just share my screen because I've got some interesting stuff for you today.
I bet.
It's always interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're never short of interesting things to look at with the markets, are we?
Yeah. So, trust you can see my screen there, just looking at dollar index.
Yes.
So let's have a look, first of all, at the Bitcoin versus dollar index. It's quite interesting because it shows a couple of correlations that, people are always arguing, oh, it's positively correlated, negatively correlated, it's not correlated, whatever. Well, here's the actual facts. These are the figures. This is the data. So we can see that over the long term, this is, when I say long term, we're talking about from the, just after the financial crash of 2009, 8-9. So from there, we can see long term, we can actually see a positive correlation. And obviously we're showing from that time because that's when Bitcoin was created. We can look at against stocks, dollar against stocks, dollar against silver. We'll have a quick look at. But here's pretty much since Bitcoin was created, we can actually see a positive correlation because we can see in general the blue line is Bitcoin price going up, up, up and away. But at the same time, the dollar has actually strengthened long term as well. So that is a positive correlation. So effectively long term, as the dollar has appreciated, so has Bitcoin. But if we look on a shorter term time frame, so for example, we can see the peak here in the Bitcoin price back in whenever it was, 2011, June 2011. We see a peak in Bitcoin price and we see a trough in the dollar. And we actually see that's a common theme along the way, that whenever we see a peak in Bitcoin, it correlates with a trough in the dollar. Again, here we see a peak in Bitcoin, trough in dollar, peak in Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, basically, there's a short term, there's an inverse correlation. So long term, they're positively correlated. Short term, there's a negative correlation. It means that whenever you're seeing the dollar going down, you tend to see Bitcoin going up. Now, that's very important to current expectations. And I'll just flip back right now to the current dollar index chart. So we saw, I'll scroll out a little bit, and it just, again, bears out everything I've just said, that when we had the, I need to scroll out probably a little bit more, maybe go to weekly just to show you here. But basically, anyway, when we had the FTX low, I've scrolled out way too much, haven't I? But basically, the FTX low on Bitcoin correlated with a dollar index high. And here's the dollar index high, and this was the FTX low somewhere around here. Since that, we've seen the dollar index going down, as we can see, in a big correction going down. And that's correlated with Bitcoin going higher. Now, I know we've covered this, but I wanted to look at that long-term picture just to show you how important this is. Now, we did say that we'd had from this peak here, we're looking at a C wave down, which will be made up of 5 waves. So from the top here with this arrow, we expected dollar index down because we'd had an A wave down, ABC for a B wave higher, and then you need to get 5 waves down for a C wave. And that's precisely what happened. So we actually tagged this really well. predicted a top and a turn in the dollar index from this point here, which was the peak was just in January. And that was basically when Trump came into power and the dollar started to fall from that point in time. But with this fall in the dollar, we have actually seen a pump in Bitcoin price. And we saw Bitcoin new all-time highs a week or so ago. 112,000 it just touched. And that was corresponding with this dollar weakness. Now, we've had, as I say, from this top, we've had basically an impulsive move down. This 5-wave move is a C wave, impulsive wave down. 1, 2, 3, which is the large impulsive extended wave. Then we've had, if I just open out, a very clear, very, very clear ABC wave up here for wave 4, which is as you'd expect. So A, B, and C, that's 3 waves for wave 4. And now we're beginning to move down in a final 5th wave, I believe. So bear in mind, if dollar index is moving down, that should equate to a pump in Bitcoin and so on. So we're at a bit of a crossroads, and we'll look at Bitcoin in a moment. We're at a bit of a crossroads. The bulls and the bears are fighting it out. And there's no certainty as to which way it will go, but we look for guidance from the dollar index. And so from here, I think the guidance is probably telling us that we do need to have lower in dollar index. That should give us a good little pump higher in Bitcoin, probably to new all-time highs. And as you said in your earlier commentary, there's a lot of positive news, fundamental news, buying, Michael Saylor buying more and more and more, and others, institutions, etc., buying more. So I think that there's a lot of support now under Bitcoin. Now, it did fail it just surpassed the previous all-time high of 109, went to 112, but it really wasn't a convincing break, was it? And so we've begun to see that move down on Bitcoin. As I say, we'll look at that in a moment. But I think we're going to have another push, another attempt to really push through and get hopefully a more significant high for Bitcoin. And maybe even an alt season, who knows? But as I say, we'll look at the correlations there as well. So at the moment, and it's quite interesting that we see this, we do see basically the final 5th wave here will itself be made up of 5 waves. So I think that we've had already a wave 1 down, ABC wave 2 up, and then we're pushing down, hopefully in a 3rd wave. Now that may correlate with expectations on the US dollar. But if we just have a quick flip over to the FedWatch tool, we can see now that the chances for the next meeting, this is now the June 18 meeting, we're getting close to that now, it's now 98.7% chance we're going to hold interest rates at the current level. And there's only a 1.3% chance of a cut. So virtually no chance. We're not going to cut unless something really untoward happens. It's going to hold. And then even looking forward through to July, you can see 76% chance of a hold there for July also. So we're going to hold for July. First possible chance, I think, of a cut, according to this, is September, where we actually have a majority for a cut, a modest cut, 25 basis point cut in September. So I think rates are going to stay on hold for some time. And that is probably because the economic news is so far still quite stable, despite these Trump tariffs, etc. We're seeing spending staying, personal spending staying reasonably constant there. I've got a figure of 0.2%. That's reasonable. So spending hasn't fallen off a cliff. We're seeing PCE. So, a measure of inflation basically staying relatively stable. So there's no real need to change interest rates at the moment, which is exactly why they're staying on hold. And it's why, I guess, the markets have not fallen out of bed, but they're not rallied. Everything at the moment is reasonably stable. But bear in mind, all of these Trump tariffs, it does take time to feed through. And we may start to see the first effects of these tariffs maybe in June. So we're in June now. I think it's, first days of June. Let's see during June what the data holds, because I think we may well see the first signs of possibly inflation beginning to come through. If you see inflation coming through, then of course there'll be less chance of a cut in rates. Although we've got virtually no chance of a cut in this June meeting, they may even put back. And I have said actually now I'm beginning to think maybe we won't even see a cut in rates this year.
Yep.
So that will be interesting to see what the effects are there. but probably not positive. But anyway, looking at going back to that dollar index, if we see dollar index fall, we're probably going to see fall further as we expect. Then we should probably see Bitcoin continuing to rise a bit more. So again, that's all fitting in quite nicely. So if we go over to where we are currently with Bitcoin, here was the previous all-time high that we had before of 109,000. We fell down, and as I say, it could be just an A wave, or this could actually be a completed A, B, C for a completed correction down. There isn't absolute certainty, so don't take this as red here. I'll remove that, in fact, and I'll basically just readjust these. So basically, potentially, it could be that we have an A wave there, a B wave higher. I mean, it's actually a really nice look to that as a count. Basically, an A down, a B up, and a C down. There's a lot of overlapping. It's a very clear three-wave kind of move. It could even be a WXY, but same effect. It's a correction effectively. So I think this is a correction, no doubt, to the downside. So it's telling me that at some point we're still going to reach new all-time highs, even if we were to fall from here, which I'm having doubts about. We're going to see new all-time highs yet again, I think. But even if it's delayed further, so either the correction's complete here, or this is actually just makes a larger A wave, larger B wave, and then a C wave down. And I'm entertaining both possibilities. So as I said, whenever we see dips, I really am an advocate of dollar cost averaging. So when we saw this dip down here in ABC fashion, it was time to dollar cost average, basically to phase some capital in at that point. I don't like buying peaks, and we're at or near a peak right now. So I wouldn't like to buy at this stage. But if you did buy earlier on, then you can protect maybe some of it, small profit, no matter what happens in the market. Looking at RSI, Relative Strength Index, we're right in the middle at the moment. So again, pretty well undecided. It's absolutely not clear. It really isn't clear where we're going to be going from here. There's no divergence on this scale, by the way. You can see here higher highs in price. If I move that up a bit, there's higher highs in price there, but there's actually corresponding higher highs in RSI there. So there's no divergence in place. So there's not many signals telling us where it's going, apart from the only clue we get right now is that dollar index, which is looking to weaken. So as I say, my preference, even though I wouldn't be buying at this point because I don't chase highs, my preference is actually for higher prices on Bitcoin. And I think that we will hopefully pretty soon be reaching new highs, but it's not absolutely certain, which is why I'm not buying those. I'm not chasing the price higher. We see the same sort of story on Ethereum. Again, though, this looks like a consolidation, doesn't it? Very, very sideways kind of movement here. After this strong impulse higher, we've not seen any major reaction. It's consolidation. Consolidation means consolidation against this upward trend that we began here. So we had a long downward trend on Ethereum. We broke that, though. We broke the downtrend on the Petra upgrade, and we rocketed higher there. And now we're consolidating. Probably we may consolidate a little bit further. Who knows? But probably this consolidation will be followed by a breakout, so a bullish breakout to the upside. So this is some kind of bull flag formation, where you get the bullish flagpole, you get a mildly bearish flag waving in the wind, and then you should break on the bullish side to the upside to new highs here for Ethereum. So Ethereum's kind of supporting the case of what we've seen so far. Probably weaker dollar to come in the near future. Probably, highly likely we'll get a break higher in Bitcoin and Ethereum there. Solana, again, it's hard to say. I've labeled it. It's either ABC or it's a 1-2-1-2. It's actually really difficult to say at the moment. So again, I'm not really chasing prices, but maybe it's appropriate to do it if you've got spare capital that you can afford to hang on to. I'm still convinced from this all-time high of 295. I'm convinced that this is a correction down. I've said it over and over. Because of this triangle formation here, that cannot be wave 2. So it has to be some kind of wave B. So this is corrective down. So whichever way I look at it, because that's a correction to the downside, the impulse is still to the upside. I still expect at some point new all-time highs for Ethereum, for Solana, sorry. So whatever the count here, it's probably not ABC, probably, but either, whatever it is, as long as I can hold on to my position, I don't mind dollar cost averaging, buying in every time we see a dip. And I do believe we're going to see new all-time highs for Solana. So again, fits with the overall narrative. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana now as well, looking to push to highs again, and Solana probably to new all-time high there. So I'm very, very bullish. But short term, there's quite a bit of uncertainty. As I say, the bulls and the bears are fairly evenly matched. Now, even XRP, and I'm just going through a few here because we're at the beginning of the week, it's good to review a few, but even XRP, we can see once again very much of a consolidation pattern. So we've had this strong rise, this breakout that we had to $3.40. And you can see it's impulsive to the upside. There's no overlap. So if you counted that as a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is impulsive. It's powerful without overlap. But this movement down, there's a lot of overlap. So the movement up and down, it's all overlapping. This movement up overlaps this movement down. There's a lot of overlap. So even if we, it's like Bitcoin. It's either ABC complete, as I've got it labeled here, A, B, and C complete. So that's either complete there, or it could be a larger ABC. These corrections, they can form many different chart patterns. You can get flat corrections, you can get zigzag corrections, you can get double, triple, etc., triangles, all sorts of types of corrections. So there's no certainty. So either we're finished or we've got more to go, but impulsive then corrective means we have a further impulse to come at some point to the upside. So again, if you can afford to lock up capital for some time, it's not a bad idea to dollar cost average every time you see a dip in the market, because I do think, I'm very strongly convinced that there's going to be a further push at some point to give us another push higher, much higher for XRP. So we looked at pretty much 4 or 5 of the big ones there. We'll just touch on Litecoin as well. Litecoin is less convincing, to be fair. We can see overall it's less convincing than the others. I do think that maybe we're in some kind of big sideways consolidation, and at some point we will get another push up, which will correlate with the rest. But actually, although I know Bruce loves Litecoin, it's one of his favorites.
I do. I love the Litecoins. I think it's going back to 300 quickly. No, I'm kidding, kind of.
Who knows, Bruce? I mean, honestly, if we're going to see new all-time highs, and remember, if we see alt season coming, it doesn't mean that Bitcoin's going to be falling. It probably means Bitcoin's going to be rising. It's just that altcoins are going to be rising that much more. When the market's in bullish mood, yes, Bitcoin will rise, but the rest will probably rise a lot more. That's the alt season that we're looking forward to, hopefully. So 300 is not out of the question at all. It's entirely possible. It's a long way from here, but it is possible. And I've got here labeled potentially an A, a B, and a C. Don't forget the C wave is probably going to be an impulsive 5-wave move to the upside. So we could actually have some really powerful impulsive movement. And this, we could be, who knows, Bruce? We could be right up there. If
alt season hits, I mean, we haven't seen an alt season in so long. But when alt season, or if alt season hits, I mean, all bets are off. I mean, these things fly.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing, and they sort of it seems illogical when they're rising the way they rise so fast, and it's just when there's real euphoria in the market. At the moment, I might just put on the fear and greed index just to have a quick show where we're at. Let's just have a look. I should have put Bitcoin fear and greed, really, shouldn't I? No. It's worth having a look because it does tell us. Here we are. Yeah, look at that. We're pretty balanced at the moment. So the fear and greed index, the Bitcoin fear and greed index at the moment, 64. So that's right, balanced, really. It's not, we're slightly into the greed territory, but there's so much room there to move to extreme greed. And yesterday was 56. We were almost balanced there, but it's looking more positive now. So again, that would actually align with what we're expecting with the US dollar. We're expecting probably more dollar weakness, which would equate with Bitcoin strength. So I think there's a lot of room for Bitcoin to move into that positive territory, and that's what we need. Bitcoin will lead the way, I believe, and altcoins will follow and eventually overtake in terms of percentage gains. So that's what alt season is all about, and we can looking at some major cryptos here. Even BNB has been very much in a we basically had 5 waves up, 3 waves down. We may well have a lot more movement to the upside to come to finish this movement to the upside. But we had a consolidation we can see earlier. This was in 2023. We had quite a consolidation sideways in ABC movement sideways, but then we had a 5-wave move. So the impulse 5 waves, remember, is always in the direction of the impulsive direction, the direction of the trend. So the trend is higher with this 5 waves. We've got an against the trend 3-wave move down. And again, we've probably had maybe some sort of leading diagonal higher, correction down. So I think, again, with BNB, we're also looking higher. So all in all, these things are looking positive. Right now, there's still a bit of negative sentiment. I mean, even this morning, to be honest, the movement's a bit negative, but the start of the week is often different. So we often have, a relatively quiet weekend. Start of the week often moves against the trend, the overall trend. I think that come tomorrow, I'm hoping that we'll start to see the turnaround, and all this red that we're seeing in the market might turn to green.
Well, that's one thing I tell people: markets don't just go one way. Markets move up and they move down. So if it's going down a lot, you can expect some up days afterwards, and vice versa.
Yeah, I've just experienced over the years. I often see when you see a early Monday down, it's often reverses for the rest of the week. We're seeing a strong move in oil this morning. We've seen 4% plus move in oil to the upside. Not quite sure what the reason behind that is. I'll look into that and perhaps comment tomorrow. Gold, as you say, is looking amazing at the moment. Here's gold. We can see we're not yet at the previous all-time high. I've labeled this again a little bit like Bitcoin. We've got an ABC down. Now, it could be that this is just going to be an ABC higher and another move down. But overall, because this is ABC, it is, and this movement up here has overlapped that A wave. So we know it's corrective. So we do at some point expect new all-time highs for gold. So even if we do get a further pullback, which is possible, there's no certainty it's possible, but this is telling me that we're actually going to see a new all-time high in gold at some point. So whether it's immediately from here or whether it's delayed a bit further down the line, Elliott wave doesn't tell you about timing, but the wave formations do tell you about price directions, which is good. But timings are really difficult to come by. Again, I probably won't go through the miners and the memes and so on today. We've probably been through enough of those, but just a bit of a negative day overall so far. But I think, as I say, this is a good setup. I'll see how the rest of the week goes, or how the week begins to progress. I am considering looking at long positions. Again, dipping my toe in the water. I don't want to be overly optimistic at the moment. The other thing I'm looking very closely at, we can see here on Bitcoin that so far we have 3 waves down. We can see from the top there, A, B, and a C. Now, if this red candle were to continue down below this point, we would then actually have 5 waves down, and there's no overlap between wave 4 and wave 1 here. So if we get 5 waves down, then that would tell me that the correction is going to continue a bit longer in Bitcoin. So 5 waves down, we then get 3 waves up, and then a further 5 down as a sort of minimum expectation. But it all depends on this candle here, this red candle we're currently on now, this daily candle. How is today, tomorrow going to finish? We do not want to descend below. This is really a little bit of a short-term line in the sand. Just put the horizontal right there where we're at. So
and that's at like 103-ish.
1032, yeah. I mean, I'll find the exact number there for the low point. 103, 127, in fact.
Yeah.
So just move that down a fraction. Anyway, roughly there. So that dotted red line there, the lower dotted red line, I don't want us to fall below that. If we do, then we have 5 waves down. So 5 waves down can either be an A wave or a wave 1. So best case scenario is it's just an A wave, then we would get an ABC B wave higher, and then a further 5 waves down for C wave before we push higher again. But if we can just retain this as 3 waves without breaking that low, then we'll push immediately higher. So got to watch closely. It's entirely possible this correction will be drawn out a bit longer. As I say, Elliott wave doesn't tell you on timing, but we have to monitor in live time how the waves are unfolding. As I say, at the moment, I'm watching this daily candle, this red one. Ideally, we would love it to turn into a green candle. And if it does for the rest of the day, that would be very positive. So I think that's pretty much a wrap for today. We'll just probably finish on SPX. Again, SPX is, we've seen ABC down, we've seen ABC higher. Now it could be, instead of ABC, this could be 1, 2, 3, and we could be looking at 4, 5. So we could be beginning. Again, it's actually impossible to say right now. But again, because this is ABC down, it's corrective. It does tell me at some point we're going to reach new all-time highs yet again. So the market run is not finished. This bull market is not finished. We've had an amazing bull run for the past few years, really, on the on the stock markets and Bitcoin and cryptos and so on. I know it's a bit of a, in some of the altcoins in crypto, it's been a bit of a dragging on bear market kind of thing, but Bitcoin is certainly in a bull run. And so the stock market's in a bull run, and I don't think it's yet finished. We've got higher to go. And just finally, I said I'd finish, never finished, do I? Oh yeah, we touched on gold. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to probably finish on the silver, dollar index silver correlation. So we looked at the correlation between Bitcoin and the dollar index, and here we've got the correlation here between dollar index and silver price. So the dollar index is in blue and the silver price is in red. So we can see as the dollar index falls, that's the blue, as it falls, and we're expecting a further fall, that silver price rises. So that's quite interesting. It's a precious metal. I know Bruce is keen on precious metals, gold and silver. So this is actually a really nice chart, really showing pretty long-term correlation from about the year 2000. We can see again, whenever we see dollar index rising to a peak, we're seeing the silver price falling, and vice versa. So we can see here again, we've got here dollar index falling, silver price rising. So there's a really good inverse correlation here. Interestingly, we can see here recessions in gray, and it's, you can never tell for certain. Recessions can happen both with dollar rallies and dollar falls. So for example, here we've got a peak in the US dollar correlating with recession, but here we have a trough in the US dollar correlating with recession, and here we have a peak in the US dollar correlating. So you can't tell whether the dollar's peaking or troughing, whether you're going to get recession because of that, but it does have good correlation with silver price here. So if we're expecting lower dollar index, we do expect further movement up, probably in silver. And remember, silver is an industrial metal. It's used in a lot of production. It's used as a catalyst in many production facilities. So that is kind of correlated with production. So it means that looking like the economy is still going to continue reasonably positive for the time being. If silver's continuing to the upside, dollars continuing to the downside, probably that means that we're going to continue with some stability for a little time further, at least in the markets. But I think that because these are diverging, at some point we will see that US dollar turn and we'll see silver turn, because once they diverge, we can't tell how far they'll diverge, but at some point they'll both start going again to meet in the middle. So I think that's a really interesting chart. It tells us quite a lot, and I love looking at these correlations. So thank you, Bruce. Thank you, everybody. Hope that was helpful, and look forward to tomorrow, Bruce.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Matt.
Thanks.
Always a pleasure.
Cheers.
Cheers. The market report with the great Matt Dixon, world-class market analysis that we get here on a daily basis on the Impact Money Show. Of course, at the beginning of the show, you saw I led off with an advertisement type of thing that I did for my friend Anthony Ratosa and the Global Family Office Investment Summit. I have an interview here that we did as well during the Global Family Office Investment Summit. This one was in Dubai. Of course, we have the next one coming up in Monaco. Beautiful Monaco. Can't wait. 26th and 27th of this month in June. People are asking me, what are you doing on the 4th of July? I said, I got to be honest, folks. Probably going to spend some time after Monaco there in the south of France. There's a lot going on, and it's a beautiful place. Anyway, this is Steve Lawrence, an interview that we did there at the show. Check it out. And we are live here at the Global Family Office Investment Summit in beautiful Mandarin Oriental Hotel in downtown Dubai. That is actually a very nice venue here. Anthony Ratosa has done it again, pulled everybody together. I have with me here Steve Lawrence, who's with Estate X, and I had his colleague on the panel earlier, and these guys are absolutely killing it. So tell me a little bit about Estate X and what brought you here to the Global Family Office Summit.
First of all, nice to meet you. Good to be here, man, and your brother as well. So, what's the question? What brought us here?
Yes.
One of our advisors actually recommended. So we've had a lot of traction, a lot of things that have been happening.
Yeah.
And apparently, obviously, us being out here in Token, this happened a week after Token, and we had to be here.
Yeah.
I've got to say, like, it has been worth it. The level of investors is just phenomenal, isn't it? Realistically.
It really is.
I've never met so many family offices in one go. Right. Normally, when you go to like a networking event, you meet somebody from a family office, they're like a unicorn. Oh, wow,
they stick out, right? They have the perfect hair or whatever. Exactly. And you're like, okay, they're the family office people.
But like now, it's just a dime a dozen. You know what I mean? So it's like it's decent. It's decent. It shows that I think they're saying like what's it, 3 trillion, 30 trillion.
Yeah,
total,
it's crazy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So how was Token?
Token was good.
Yeah.
So we announced our partnership with DNA. As you guys know, we're incubated and advised by Brock Pierce. He's one of our lead investors.
Brock.
Yeah, co-founder of USDT. Yeah. So he's fund DNA. We've announced that they're backing us as well. Okay. So obviously that's a pretty big deal. So it was our first kind of event with DNA. The DNA team are phenomenal. But then obviously with Token, you know how it is. There's so many side events as well. Yeah. And just we actually had merchandise as well.
You got merch? I want some
merch, bro. Listen.
Look at this.
Estate X. There we go.
Look at that.
It's unicorn season. You know what time it is. You get me a unicorn loading. You know what I mean? We have to let them know.
Great stuff.
So we got here. We were rocking our Estate X merch, and then everybody's coming over to us. Everyone's saying, "Oh, it's Estate X, blah blah blah." So we didn't. When you're kind of like doing a business and you're working so hard, you know you're growing and progressing, but you don't realize sometimes you feel like you're treading water. Yeah. But then to come to Token and then literally almost feel like we're famous. Everyone's coming over to us. Oh, you're Estate X. We heard about you. We saw your white paper. We saw this. We saw that. Like, we want to work with you. Blah, blah, blah. We saw this announcement. We saw that blog. Yeah. All of that stuff. It's great. Like, even like, Mario Nafal.
Yeah.
So basically, like one of the biggest crypto KOLs, he's walked into one of the DNA events and it's Mario. So the whole world's party like the Red Sea. Right. He's got his camera guys. He's got his, men in black with the sunglasses and fucking the visors and everything. And he's just walking through and he's seen the Estate X t-shirts. He goes, "Oh, Estate X," and he's broke his entourage. He came over, shook our hands and stuff like that. So the reception of Token has been absolutely phenomenal.
That's awesome. Well, and it's nice to extend. I always say you go to the events and then people fly out and they really miss those next couple of days. So you're able to have meetings, everything else, and then of course you're nice and fresh as you come in here as well. Yeah. Although the time difference isn't as bad for you as it is for me. So Estate X, to me, the name kind of says it all. But for the audience, let us know, what is Estate X? What is it doing?
Yeah, sure. So what we're doing is tokenizing real estate, but we're doing it slightly differently to what's been done before. We feel like there's a big gap in the market where people are just at the moment, they're focused on multimillionaires, they're focused on crypto people, which is fine. And we're very big in crypto and we're very appealing to the upper class. But the world's in a state of emergency at the moment. I always say this, like, me and you, mate, we're privileged. You know what I mean? Like, we can travel around the world, we come to these conferences, but a lot of the people that I grew up with, working class, lower middle class, they're struggling to pay for their car insurance. You know what I mean? Like, the groceries that they got a year ago, it's a lot more expensive now. You know what I mean?
It is.
Like everyone's living from paycheck to paycheck. There needs to be change. There needs to be a solution. That's for the everyday average Joe. Right. And Estate X is that solution. We're making investing in real estate simple, affordable for anybody, anywhere. With as little as $100, you can go into the property market and be an official property owner, owning a fraction of the rental income and also getting a fraction of the capital gains. We have one of the lowest barrier to entries in there. to $100. We're backed by, the co-founder of USDT,
Right.
the CEO of Remax England Wales is on our board of directors, and he's going out there finding properties for us. We've actually, no, I can't say this on camera, but we've got
Don't
some very,
say it
very,
then,
very
because
interesting.
you're on camera.
Got some very, very interesting deals that's going to be happening. That's happened already. So I'm not too sure when this is going to be live, but there's some alpha that's going to be coming your way. But most importantly, our platform appeals to the everyday person. I always use the avatar of Sharon from Manchester, England. She's a single mum. She's 30 years old. She doesn't know anything about tokenization, doesn't know anything about crypto. If you speak to her about kind of like, blockchain, she disqualifies herself. But Sharon has an Amazon account. Sharon has an Uber account. Sharon has a need for properties. So now Sharon can be buying properties in Web3 and actually feeling like she's actually still browsing in Web2. And that's the difference. Everybody else is developing in an RWA things that are really for Web3. And they want that mass worldwide adoption, but they're not actually marketing it to the world, and they're wondering why it hasn't got mass worldwide adoption.
Right.
So, like you guys said you were from DC, right?
Yeah.
And DC is like, very forward-thinking city.
Sure.
But if you go out and just speak to 100 random people in DC right now, stop them and ask them, are you currently investing in crypto? How many people would you think would say yeah?
Oh no, it's unbelievable. Actually, you probably saw the panel because your colleague was in there. I couldn't believe how many people didn't know crypto. It was unbelievable. Like the amount of people that the amount higher that this is going to go, because when these people start buying, it's going to be unbelievable. And to your point, which we also kind of touched on in the panel, or at least I did touch on it at the end, but the tokenization is now opening up all these avenues that weren't open before. So an average person is never going to go and own a rental property and then reap rewards of owning a rental property. But with tokenization, we're able to bring it down to a fractional level, which is exactly
100%.
what you guys are doing. And more people can share in that what's going on. And as you know, the disparity right now is getting bigger and bigger and bigger between the rich and the poor.
Yeah, massively. And that's what we're all about, helping reduce the gap between the rich and the poor, leveling the playing field, giving equal opportunities for everybody. And obviously, as you just mentioned, really, that's kind of like the global landscape at this moment for crypto users is when we're in crypto, it's almost like a bubble, isn't it? And we think everything else is crypto. So your reaction is when you saw how many people had crypto in this family office event, it's unbelievable, right?
Unbelievable.
You were saying it's unbelievable, but that's the issue. It's actually believable. You know what I mean? So like if you go out, if you take yourself out of the crypto bubble, as I said, if you go and support 100 random people in Washington, maybe 5% of those will get crypto, 2 or 3. So why would that be different in a Web2 family conference? You know what I mean? We're expecting everybody to be part of crypto, but the world isn't. And that's the thing, like us as crypto owners, us as crypto developers, us as crypto innovators, we need to be in the mindset that the world is not crypto. We need to be marketing things to the world. Our platform needs to be the world. Our brand messaging needs to be for Web2 people. If it's not, we're part of this like little inside geeky club that we're happy with, but nobody else is actually going to want to be a part of. And this is like, the psychology behind it is like, if we want to get that mass worldwide adoption, we need to start appealing to the world type of thing, you know what I mean? And these crypto guys are literally just in crypto. Like, for example, there was a guy on the panel who said that, the solution is these family offices, they need to go and watch Satoshi's white paper, 200-page white paper. They ain't gonna go and read the white paper, you know what I mean? Like the family office is like, I ain't got time for that. You need to break it down for me in simple terms. You need to show me how this is gonna change my Web2 life, you know what I mean? So, and this is the thing really. So this is what we do for StateX. We're making sure our platform, our marketing, our education appeals to Sharon, the single mom from Manchester, as well as it appeals to, Bruce, who's a crypto bro as well type of thing. And that's the difference. We positioned ourselves for mass worldwide adoption.
So talk to me about the stage you're at right now, how you got there. I think you mentioned that you did a raise, but talk to me about that. How much money did you raise? Are you out of the raise? Have you had your token generation event?
Yeah, good question. So we've raised 5.5 million in the bear market. All of our pre-sale rounds sold out in like 1 to 3 minutes. There's literally so much buy pressure left within our community. Shout out to the StateX family. We've got one of the highest staked ICOs on the market. So this token's actually launching in 6 weeks on the 18th of June. But we offered our community members, if they wanted to stake, their digital representations of the tokens. Yes or no, 1 year to 20 years. On average, 55% of our pre-sale tokens have been staked and locked for an average of 7 years.
Wow.
Voluntarily with the community. So that goes to show the faith and the trust that they have in us and the long-term vision of what they have with what we're doing. That's we've raised, we're about to launch. We do have a little bit left of the private round, which we're saving closer to launch for people that can bring actually additional value.
Right. So then, how does it work with your tokens? What are the tokenomics? Can you keep minting more? Is it a set supply? Talk to
Yeah, no, it's set supply. So once we launch, it's set supply. We're going to be launching at a certain price, and we're going to be launching different areas of the ecosystem to be encouraging our token to be going into the right direction. So yeah.
Nice, very nice. And how many tokens is it? Do you know what the total tokens is?
No, I'm going to be very honest. I'm not the biggest partner that deals with all of the technical stuff. I deal with I deal with the marketing, I deal with the business development, I deal with relationships type of thing. I leave that. Thank you. I leave that to Bart and Ronnie type of thing. So I don't want to be talking about tokenomics just in case anything's changed, but don't forget. So
I understand. So where do you go from here? What's your next stop?
World domination. World domination, mate. This is not a drill, you know what I mean? Unicorn season, you saw the t-shirt, you know what I mean? So,
Are you going home now, or are you going to another conference, or what are you doing?
So I can say this, RWA is massive in China and massive in Asia.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be flying back out to Asia and closing some deals out there, touch wood. And then after that, it's back to London, back to Birmingham, in the UK, and preparing for launch, you know what I mean? Like we're launching on the 18th of June. It's going to be a historic launch. It's 6 weeks from now. Yeah. So there's a lot that we need to be preparing, from the marketing to the KOLs to the business side of things, but also the property side of things as well. We're not just Web3. We're more of a lifestyle innovation company that utilizes blockchain to take it to the next level. We're not trying to position ourselves as a crypto company, even though we utilize blockchain technology. So there's a lot that we need to do on the Web2 side as well as the Web3 side. So yeah.
So let me ask you this. We are kind of running out of time, but now as far as your UI and everything, like, so the person goes on there, is it kind of like an Airbnb type where people can also book, or is it just
so you're purchasing like online shopping, so it's like, imagine a remix between, you heard of Tinder, right?
Well, no, I mean, I was I was already married when Tinder came out. My wife wouldn't let me have one.
Yes, he doesn't know, but I'll educate you.
Definitely, it's not
you're so. I'll educate you. Your innocent little heart. Tinder is where it's a dating that we can swipe.
Oh,
wow. I know. He's a good guy. And so basically, it's a remix between Tinder and Amazon. So imagine you can swipe through different buildings. You can click. You can add to cart, and you can check out. Then boom, you own a piece of real estate. We're making investing in real estate as simple as online shopping, so you can do something in seconds as opposed to doing it in days or weeks. So again, remember, we talk about Sharon, the single mom from Manchester. Yes. Sharon now could be doing that because it's something that's familiar. We spent 2 years building this platform that's so robust on the back end, so complicated on the back end, but so simple and familiar on the front end that a child could use it or an older pensioner could use it as well. So it literally is just like online shopping, put into add to cart, check out, then you own that.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on, man.
No problem.
I think it's a cool project. You guys have a great team. You're obviously very well spoken. Your partner is as well.
Thank you.
What's the website, social media? How do people find you guys?
Yeah, so www.estatex.eu. You can see the branding over here as well. You can follow our Twitter, EstateXEU, or our Telegram, join the EstateX family, EstateX Official. That's EstateX Official on Telegram. And we have an amazing community. Bart, the co-founder, is very active in the community. We have some amazing moderators, and just even the other, don't take our word for it, speak to the other investors, speak to the EstateX family members, speak to the other community members, and see why everybody's so excited about EstateX. But to summarize, we're going to be disrupting the $300 trillion real estate industry. We're going to be disrupting the banking and lending industry. We're also going to be disrupting the education industry as well. We're on this epic journey, partnering and discussing with amazing people like yourself, and we're about to make history. So, EstateX.
Yes. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, bro.
See you soon.
Hey Randy, I got another home run for us, man. This 2-bit exchange is absolutely amazing.
Hey Bruce, what's up, man? Yeah, why don't you tell me about that 2-bit exchange?
Yeah, that's right. And we're going to be able to list our coins that we want, that we support, and they're going to be on this amazing derivatives platform. It's absolutely awesome.
Derivatives? I love derivatives. I can't wait to be on the trade copy program.
So what I want you to do is set up an account and then send me your UID, and let's set you up with a trade copy system, and you just let it run. Copy our trades. That's it. Easy peasy.
So you want me to open an account, send you my user ID, and you hook me up with the trade copy system. I can't wait. Sounds spectacular.
Hey, Matt. Hey, listen, I met with the guys at 2-Bit Exchange while I was in Dubai, and this platform really looks amazing.
Yeah, hi Bruce. Yeah, thank you again for that heads up. I mean, I've looked into this 2-bit platform. It does appear to have everything we're looking for.
Yeah, that's right. 2-Bit, Toobit. They have great liquidity. They have futures platform. There's a lot of functionality that I think you're going to like on there. And they really want to work with us. They want to work with the Impact Money Show. And as you and I both know, if they have a good product and they want to work with us, well, hey, that's half the battle.
I mean, basically, I love that copy trade facility. I love the features on the platform. It's basically very simple to use.
Our viewers only need to set it up to copy our trades, and they just do all the trades that we do. Makes it really easy for people to participate. I think they're going to love it. I'm pretty excited about it.
And yeah, it's definitely going to benefit people. I mean, obviously, with all the years of experience that we can pack into it, and people can basically benefit from that. Yeah, I definitely think it's a goer.
Hey, David. Yeah, man, I'm excited about it too. I mean, when you think of the ways that we can help our viewers earn money and be able to participate in the monetary revolution, this 2-Bit platform just opens up all kinds of doors that they don't have right now.
Hey, Bruce, I'm checking out this platform. It's revolutionary.
That's absolutely correct. And the futures platform is amazing. Great liquidity. And the copy trader program, people are going to be able to make the trades exactly when we make them and make the money that we make. It's a win-win for everybody.
Open for U.S. customers, and you can deposit money with a credit or debit card. Doesn't get better than this.
Beautiful. And what do you think we should use as a referral code?
I think we should use Impact Money. That's the one. Impact Money.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost, become a champion of free speech, and help to reshape the future of media.